well stocked are you? We're going to take a look around my kitchen today, and I'm going to show you 10 things that I always keep in my kitchen to hopefully give you some ideas of things that you can stock too. This is a great way to save some money on your grocery budget by having things that you always use, and it helps you out if people are sick or there's weather and you just don't want to go shopping, or if money's really tight, you don't have to go to the store because you've already stocked up. So let's take a look around my kitchen in the pantry shelves, freezers, fridge, everything, and I'm going to show you the 10 things that I always have in stock and how long they'll last me. Let's start with pasta. Pasta is something I always have on my shelves, and it's back here in this little pantry shelf in my kitchen. I just went through and counted. I actually have 29 boxes of pasta. Pasta is so shelf stable. It's very cheap. You can still get it under $1 a box, and it lasts a really long time. My kids like it. It makes for a quick, easy meal. We use about 1 box a week. Not always. Some weeks we'll skip it, but I'd say on average 1 box a week, and that means with 29 boxes, I have enough to last us for 6 months, which is amazing. That's a great thing to stockpile. Pasta will not go bad, so it's definitely something I think if you guys like pasta, that's a great thing to have on your shelves. Something else I always have on my shelves are canned vegetables. For me, it's canned beans and canned corn because that's the kind my family likes, canned. So I stock up. How many do I have? Well, you're not going to believe this. I stocked up around Thanksgiving when they were 39 cents a can. I just went through and counted. I currently have 109 cans of vegetables. But here's the things of that. When I look at the expiration dates, these are good for 2 to 3 years out. Are they going to go bad? No, they are not. So I have enough to easily last us for 6+ months, probably almost to a year, because we don't eat canned vegetables every night. We substitute with frozen or fresh, but it is so nice to have canned vegetables on my shelf. So these are a great thing to stockpile because the cost is low, they are picked at the height of freshness, and it's just really handy to have. Plus they're shelf stable, so like pasta, they're going to last you a couple years once you buy them. Another thing I always have in my kitchen is crackers. Here we have Ritz and Triscuits are our go-to. My daughter Emma takes these in her lunch every day, so I'm always well stocked. I do store these in canning jars like this. These are Anchor Hawking jars. I will leave a link to them below. I love these jars. They're super easy for the kids to get in. They look pretty, and it keeps me organized so I can see easily what I have. I also have graham crackers as well as some assorted crackers sometimes if we've been entertaining. So in addition to these crackers here, I also store all our boxes of crackers back in the shelf with the pasta over here. You can see Triscuits are our favorite. Those are 2 deep back. We currently have 17 boxes of crackers because not only do I have those there, but then down here I have some Ritz crackers in a large box. This is also where I keep my kids' art supplies. We go through about 1 box a week, I would say, because Emma does take crackers in her lunch every day, or will snack or use them to top on poppy seed chicken. So this will last us about 4 months with all our crackers. All of these things that I'm sharing are just things that I stock and that we use on a regular basis. They are intended to give you ideas of things that you could keep in your kitchen as well. But as I keep showing you these things, think about the things that your family uses on a regular basis to start stocking up on those. We're down in the basement now, and yes, apple juice is something I always keep on our shelves. We do a small glass of juice for breakfast for my kids, and so I stock up. We go through 1 of these about a week is what I have realized, and these stack 2 back here, all through on this shelf here, and a little bit over on these wooden shelves that my father-in-law built years ago. I have 18 bottles of apple juice that are stocked up here, and that will last us about 4 months, so I feel great about that, to have that much apple juice. When we're ready for a new one, we just take it over here from the far side, and then when I buy some new ones, I am cycling through, so the oldest are always being used first. But apple juice is something we always have on our shelves. All right, I know I said take my list for what it is, but something that I think everyone should have is peanut butter. If you are not allergic, peanut butter is shelf stable. It's a great source of protein. We use it for sandwiches and for cooking and baking. So we have a lot of peanut butter. How much peanut butter? We're in the basement, so it can be a little hard to see, but this is our peanut butter shelf right here. I have 1 upstairs. These are double stacked, and then they go 3 back. So I have 6 in a row. So you can see 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 jars of peanut butter right now. And again, the newest ones go on the left, so I'm always taking from that side. We have peanut butter, and along with that peanut butter, I should say we do have jam. We have some canned jars of blackberry jam because my kids like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So that's some homemade blackberry jam. But peanut butter for sure, like I said, that's a great thing to have on your shelves and stockpile. I will say that the larger jars might be slightly cheaper price per ounce, but I stick to the 16-ounce size jars just because they're more manageable. With these jars here, we go through about 2 a month, more if I am baking. So we're going to say right now, this will last us about, we'll say 6 months on peanut butter, depending on the baking season and how many sandwiches we're eating. I am a baker, so these next two technically are separate, but we're counting together. It is flour and sugar. I always have flour and sugar by shelves because I'm baking homemade bread for us. I bake about 2 loaves a week. I have 2 kids who really like sandwiches for lunch, and then one who loves crackers, and Caleb eats leftovers because he's home with me a lot of times for lunch. So I have always making bread, and then we do a lot of baking with muffins or pancakes and treats for the kids. We bake homemade cookies, all sorts of things. So I always have flour and sugar on my shelves because if you have those things, you can bake so many things, and that is great to have. Up here I have 20 pounds of flour and I have 16 pounds of sugar, and then the rest of my flour and sugar I store in the basement. The rest of my flour and sugar I keep in the basement in 5-gallon buckets. I do label them with painter's tape just to keep track of which ones I'm using first. And I can fit the 10-pound bags. I can fit 2 of them in here. If I'm doing 5-pound bags of flour, I can fit 5. I can do 3 on the bottom and then 2 on the top laying over. If I'm doing sugar, I can generally get 6 to 8 bags in a bin. So that's how I store my extra flour and sugar. Right now I have 3 extra bins of flour as well as 2 of sugar. So that lasts me at least 6 months, being very conservative, probably closer to a year on sugar, honestly. Because I'm a baker, one of the things I'm also storing is chocolate chips. I have all kinds, all varieties, all sizes, but I always have chocolate chips on hand because I love chocolate. So I will store them in small bags like this if I find a good sale. They are in a little metal tin here just to keep them safe and out of the way. But my favorite way to buy chocolate chips is from Sam's Club in these large bags. It's a Nestle bag. It is $13.68 for this large bag, which works out to 6 chocolate chip bags, 72 ounces. So it works out to $2.33 a bag, which is the best price I can find them. I try to always have 3 of these on hand at a time. Yes, I bake a lot. And they fit perfectly in this 3-gallon tub. This is a local ice cream shop, and so I get these bins for free, and that's a great way to store my chocolate chips. So it may sound crazy to some of you, but again, I have 4 kids. We're baking all the time at home, for school, for other people, for treats, all sorts of things. So right now I currently have 22 bags of chocolate chips, dividing up those large Nestle bags into the 12-ounce size, of course. And I will say conservatively that will last me 6 months. I could make it stretch longer depending on how much baking we're doing, but I always have chocolate chips on hand. Who else is with me on that one? Okay, we looked at the pantry. Let's talk fridge. Something I always have in my fridge is cheese. Yes, this is all the cheese currently. I have, if these are 2-pound blocks, so I have 11 pounds of cheese with that one on top. Whenever I find a good deal, I grab it and I stick it in our garage fridge, just in the cheese drawer. Cheese has such a long expiration. This 1-pound block was bought most recently. It's May. And these other blocks are good through July. You can freeze cheese, but if you do, I would recommend slicing it or shredding it first before you freeze it, or buy it pre-shredded. We go through cheese regularly, so I'll say this is gonna last us 3 months or so. I don't know, we're probably going through a pound of cheese a week because, let's be honest, we really like cheese here. The next thing I always have in my kitchen, in my freezer, is that I always keep meat. And I have a variety of meat prepped and stored for the freezer. I have raw chicken there in about 2-pound bags. I have hamburger patties stacked that way. I have some raw hamburger right there in about 1-pound bags, as well as cooked hamburger in 1-pound bags. Then I have some pork chops from when we bought half a hog, as well as some sausage and bacon there. All of these things, having meat in my freezer, allows me to get meals ready very quickly, and it saves me so much money because I am stocking up on all of this when it's on sale. How much meat do I have? Well, I just did a little tally to let you know. So I have 7 bags, 1-pound bags of raw hamburger. I have 6 bags, 1-pound bags of cooked hamburger. I have 4 stacks of hamburger patties. So I stack them in 6 or 7 so I can just easily thaw them and throw them on the grill. I have 2 whole hams, well, half hams there. I have 7 bags of chicken, 5 packages of brats, 8 pounds of sausage, 11 pounds of bacon, and 8 packages of pork chops. All of that meat, if we ate meat every night, which we don't, and if we didn't have leftovers, that is 60 meals worth of meat right there, which I know a lot of these times when I'm cooking with these meals of chicken or ground beef, I'm making a casserole that will serve us 2 nights. So this is easily, I will say, 3 to 4 to 5 months of meat that I have in my freezer. This is one of the best ways to save yourself money, is to start watching for sales on meat, whatever meats you enjoy, and whenever you see a good deal, stock up on it and put it in your freezer because it will save you so much money. Something else I always keep in the freezer is butter. For those of you who watch my grocery hauls, you know that when there is a sale on butter, I'm stocking up. I have a lot of it here in the upright freezer. I do have a little bit of the newer butter that I've bought more recently in the garage freezer just to keep it separate so that I'm using the older butter first. I will take it from this freezer and move it straight into our fridge, just allow it to thaw that way. I bought 3 or 4 pounds in there at a time for my baking. And so if you count up all my freezer butter, I just went through and double checked, I have 33 pounds of butter currently in the freezer, which is good because I know on average I use about 6 pounds of butter a month. I have tracked this for almost 2 years. Some months are higher, some are lower, but again, I bake a lot, so we're going through butter quite a bit. So when I see sales at Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter, you better believe I am stocking up on butter, and I always have that in our freezer. So there you have it. Those are 10 things that I always have in my kitchen, whether it's the pantry, the freezer, or the fridge. Those are things that you will always find here. When do I buy them? When I see a good sale. That is when I am stocking up. So if you want to stock up on good sales too, be sure you join me here every Thursday because I share my frugal grocery hauls with all the sales I am buying that week and how I am stocking up and filling our pantry and fridge and freezer. Now, I'd love to know, what do you always keep in your kitchen? I showed you my kitchen pantry. Tell me what's in yours and the things that you always keep on hand. If you want to see everything that I keep in my stockpile, go ahead and check out this video next. Thanks so much for joining me, and happy stockpiling.